Two worlds, two timeless philosophies. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, and Krishna, the divine guide of the Bhagavad Gita. On the surface, they seem unrelated, but what if their wisdom is connected? What if the truths that shaped the Stoics echoed Krishna's timeless teachings? What if Marcus Aurelius was unknowingly writing lessons that had already been spoken on a battlefield thousands of years earlier? I'll be honest, I used to think Stoicism and the Bhagavad Gita were completely separate worlds, like oil and water. Marcus Aurelius's meditations felt practical, with discipline, grit, and reason. Krishna's wisdom in the Gita felt spiritual, with insight into duty, purpose, and liberation. As I explored both, something clicked. The parallels were undeniable. And then I asked myself, where did Marcus Aurelius get his wisdom? Was there a link between East and West? Or are these universal truths that transcend time, culture, and geography? Here's something fascinating. Marcus Aurelius wrote Meditations not as a book for us, but as a private journal. Picture this: an emperor, weary from war, sitting alone in his tent, reflecting on life's deepest struggles, amidst all the chaos that surrounded him. But where did Marcus learn these principles? His teachers, Junius Rusticus, Apollonius, and others introduced him to earlier Stoics like Zeno and Epictetus. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. During Alexander the Great's conquests in the 4th century BCE, Greek philosophers encountered Indian sages. Pyrrho of Elis, a philosopher who traveled with Alexander to India, spent time observing Indian ascetics, men who lived with detachment, practiced equanimity, and focused on inner mastery. When Pyrrho returned to Greece, he brought back ideas that would form the roots of Greek skepticism. Ideas about observing life without attachment and accepting its impermanence. Could those seeds of Eastern wisdom have filtered into the Roman world centuries later, inspiring the Stoic tradition that Marcus Aurelius inherited? Think about it. Greek culture deeply influenced Rome. If Indian philosophies shaped Greek thought, it's entirely possible that the echoes of Krishna's teachings found their way into Stoicism, whether Marcus Aurelius knew it or not. What if Marcus Aurelius unknowingly carried forward ideas that Krishna taught Arjuna thousands of years earlier? Philosophical overlaps. Number 1. Detachment from outcomes. I have always been obsessed with results. The end goal was everything to me, whether it was hitting targets at work, crushing fitness milestones, or simply proving my worth to others. I poured my energy into success, but when I fell short, I'd spiral. Why try if I can't guarantee success? That question haunted me. I'd replay failures in my mind over and over, like a movie I couldn't stop watching. The fear of disappointment would paralyze me. I started avoiding challenges, shrinking away from opportunities that pushed me out of my comfort zone. But what I didn't realize was this: I wasn't afraid of failure. I was afraid of what it said about me. That I wasn't good enough, that my effort was meaningless. Then I read Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. It was like a light bulb moment. But Krishna took it even further in chapter 2, verse 47. You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. How much of your stress comes from obsessing over results you can't control? Think about it. How many opportunities have you avoided because you feared failing, being judged, or falling short? Now imagine this. What if you gave your full effort, not because of the outcome, but because you owe it to yourself to show up fully? Wouldn't it feel liberating to know that your worth isn't tied to a number, a result, or someone else's opinion, but to the effort you give in this very moment? Number 2, mastering the might. There was a time when my thoughts were relentless. Worry, fear, and doubt would consume me no matter how much I achieved. It didn't matter how far I'd come or how many goals I'd ticked off. I always felt like I was on edge, like I was one misstep away from it all falling apart. The louder my achievements got, the louder my mind screamed back with questions. What if I'm not enough? What if I lose everything? What if I'm still failing those around me? It wasn't until I turned inward, until I stopped trying to silence my thoughts and started observing them, that I began to see the truth. My mind wasn't my enemy, but it was untamed. Mastering it would take work, but if I could do that, I knew I'd unlock something far more powerful than any external success. Marcus wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Krishna said something deeper in chapter 6, verse 6. "For one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, the mind will remain the greatest enemy." How often do you let your mind dictate your life? What if, instead of trying to silence your thoughts, you simply observed them, like clouds passing in the sky? What if you realized you are not your thoughts, but the awareness behind them? How much clarity, freedom, and power would you reclaim? Number 3. Duty over desire. At one point, I was part of a sports team. I wanted to shine, to be the star player. But instead, I was stuck running drills, warming the bench, and supporting others. I resented it. I thought, why work hard if I'm not the one scoring the winning goal? Why put in the effort if no one notices me? I started to show up with half my heart, and my frustration grew. Then, during one grueling training session, my coach pulled me aside and said, "You're focused on the spotlight, but real winners master the basics. Greatness comes from showing up fully, no matter how small the task." That hit me. I realized my role mattered. By showing up with integrity, whether cheering for my teammates or perfecting a drill, I wasn't just helping the team. I was growing as a person. Krishna's wisdom echoed in chapter 3, verse 35. "It is better to fail in one's own duty than to succeed in the duty of another." How often do you shrink back when your role feels small? And what would happen if you showed up fully? Not because someone's watching, but because that's who you are. What if every small task was the training ground for your greatest purpose? Critics argue that Stoicism and the Gita simply tackle universal human struggles. Maybe they're right, but here's the thing. Even if Marcus Aurelius didn't read the Gita, the wisdom is too similar to ignore. Both teach us, rise above chaos. Anchor yourself in purpose. Master your mind, and you master your life. Stoicism is the compass. It gives you direction, focus, and discipline. The Bhagavad Gita is the map. It connects your actions to something deeper, something eternal. What if you combine both? What if you approached every challenge with the rational discipline of Marcus Aurelius and the spiritual clarity of Krishna? So, did Krishna influence Marcus Aurelius? Directly, we may never know. But in spirit, without a doubt, both philosophies teach us this. Life isn't about controlling what happens. It's about mastering how we respond. If this video helped you look inward, dive deeper into lessons of the Bhagavad Gita here on this channel. And if you're curious about blending Eastern and Western teachings, check out 5 lessons of the Bhagavad Gita that changed my life in 1 week. Let's keep growing, learning, and mastering the wisdom of the past to face the challenges of today. Because in the end, whether you follow Marcus Aurelius or Krishna, the power to transform your life begins with you.